Welcome to another episode on our channel. As you know, I've been kind of showing you this head sculpt. I got it. It was a Daft Toys figure and a Bruce Wayne, Robert Pattison. And I knew what I was getting. I knew the head would be awful, and it was, but everything else was perfect. And I really got a deal on that thing. So the overcoat, the suit, the tie, the body, da-da-da-da. I knew I could put a Hot Toys head on it and really make it, speak to me. And ended up being really happy with the outcome. It's not a bad head. It's just not a good representation of Pattison. So I decided to try to make this head into something I could live with. And I thought maybe a mustache and a little facial hair might spruce it up. And I ended up with this. And I showed you a close-up of it in the last episode. It's really, I love it now. I'm happy with it. It would be great for a Civil War figure. It would be great for a Musketeer. So after I finished making it and showing it to you guys, I did what I usually do, which is I start looking for Ignite's guardsmen. They made it a long time ago. I'd say more than 20 years ago. And it's basically a musketeer. I got one way back when they first came out. And then I got one a few years ago. And I've been looking for a third one forever. Every time I get on eBay, I look for it on eBay and then I look for it on the internet and I can never find it. It's so rare. So after making this head, I decided I would look again, not expecting to find it. And I didn't find it on eBay, but I found it someplace else, actually not too far away from where we live. And it was missing some things. It was missing boots and it was missing weapons. But the most important thing are the clothes. Unfortunately, it had the body and the head sculpt. This one I could improve. Let me show you the head that it came with. It's so ironic that the best thing I've ever seen way back when, so richly tailored with the clothing, so good looking, would have a head like this. Exactly. We have to pause and we have to show you a close-up of it to really have you take in how bad this head is. I've never seen a head this bad. And it came on the best, clothed figure imaginable. So we'll pause now and get a close-up of this thing. I've really never seen a head this bad. Now, I kind of pride myself on being able to improve some heads. And I actually, with Robert Pattison, didn't turn out that bad. There's nothing I can do with this head. I'm not that good. So anyway, it's ironic. The worst head on the face of the planet with the best outfit imaginable. But yep, that's the head it came with. So with this particular figure from Ignite, they said that the weapons were missing. And when we talked to them on the phone, they said the scabbard, the sheath was missing, and the boots were missing. Of course, they had the head. I wouldn't have minded if the head was missing, and everything else was in place, but that wasn't the case. I thought I could perhaps put some boots together, and I thought I could somehow come up with a weapon and sheath and that sort of thing. And this is the sheath that I have from the first guardsman that I got. This is the sword, I should say. It's plastic. There's nothing special about it, but it is kind of cool looking. You have to say that. But I thought maybe I could do something different since now I have 3 guardsmen. Let me show you what I did. So I took Angelica's sword from the Pirates of the Caribbean. And this is my husband's shirt I stole. I love this shirt. So I use it when I do a lot of working on things. But it has kind of like clamshell things on it. I've never liked it, but I had 3 of them. And I have now 3 musketeers. And I thought, well, maybe I can do something with this. I ended up making this. All right, so it's this with the clamshells gone, basically. And it's kind of a little turned here. Hold on 1 second. There we go. That's better. So it looks like this. Let me turn it around so you can see that. Well, maybe you can see it better against my shirt. Yeah, okay. All right, so there's like a staple from a staple gun. There's a long staple here that's been cut to, so you don't slip your hand over the rest of the sword. But there's also this little, kind of looks like a cup type of thing to prevent you from going down as well, or to protect your hand when you're sword fighting. So that part is actually a cup from the Pirates of the Caribbean. And so my husband cut the stand off. I painted it all silver, and then I did a black wash on it. He put a hole in it so it would fit over the sword. And I think it turned out really nice. It's made out of metal. And this is obviously made out of plastic. Now it is shorter, but I don't really want them holding the sword. I just want it in their sheath. We'll pause now and show you all 3 musketeers. The head I had to use instead of Pattison, because the hat just doesn't fit on him, and you can't have a musketeer without a hat on. So I used one of the 3 heads to replicate this kind of look. So here are my 3 musketeers. My husband made the stand. It didn't cost us anything to make it. We had the wood. We had the square, basically pieces of wood that we used as the pieces that the figure would lean against. We used elastic to wrap around the figure, to wrap around a nail at the top of the piece of wood that's holding them up. And the piece of wood, of course, here is the stand itself with a strip of wood on each side that has been stained the same color. So it's about 1 foot, less than 1 foot, actually. I told my husband 12 inches would be great. He miscut it, and it's slightly under 12 inches. But there are 3 figures on it. And normally a stand is 5 inches in width. So normally 2 figures side by side would have a span of 10 inches. So less than 12 inches, or 12 inches for that matter, and 3 figures on it is pretty darn good. And I think the stand just looks awesome. He did a very good job on it. So it has screws coming up from the bottom into these pieces here. And then the elastic that goes around the body that attaches to a nail at the top so it doesn't slip off, holds them securely in place. All right, so my 3 musketeers. We will pause now and get a close-up of Jude Law, and that's the head I have in the middle. And I wish I could have used Robert Pattison, but his hair is too wide for the hat to fit on. And I really don't want to take a head sculpt and take away, make the head smaller so that a hat will fit. Because then you're bound to always use a hat, and you can't, have the person without a hat. So anyway, I think it worked out well regardless. So we'll pause now and get a close-up of Jude Law. So here's a close-up of all three figures. And we'll pause now and get a close-up of just Jude Law without his hat first, and then with his hat on. I don't know about you, but he doesn't even remotely look like Jude Law now. I added hair to the head and a mustache and facial hair on the chin. So he works as the Three Musketeer, and the hat does fit. We'll pause now and get the hat on. I like him with the hat better because I don't really, something about his eyes I just don't like. Maybe a little too redness. I'm not quite sure, but I think the hat closely over the eyes makes him look a lot better. Here's one last look at our Three Musketeers. With the head sculpt I was able to change for Jude Law. It just illustrates what you can do to change a head sculpt you're not in love with. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you've liked seeing the figures. If you have, consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. In the meantime, everyone, please have a great day.